1990 was one heck of a year for Denis Irwin. League Cup finals, FA Cup semi-finals with Oldham. It's when he really made his name and found himself on the United shopping list.
Irwin again. Milligan. Holden. Field for handball. Not given. Holden's cross, it's a bit short. And it runs to Ritchie! Andy Ritchie!
We were watching him a lot. And of course Denis stood out. He was standing there, and we were obviously looking for a full back anyway. And so we kept monitoring Denis, watching him every game that season, you know, almost from December right through to the end of the season. We played him in the semi-final. He was fantastic against us in the semi-final. So as soon as it was over, we did the business.
Were you nervous meeting him?
I think it was, yeah. You know, obviously you see him on the telly and that, and he'd done great things at Aberdeen before, and he's always been honest to me, which is good. But I mean, I must have been nervous meeting him and going for a walk on the pitch.
Amazing to think that year Alex Ferguson was the bookies' favourite for the chop. Denis was part of the rebuilding process, and the Reds have never really looked back. Were you hit by the atmosphere?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, 50,000. I've come from Oldham, although we had a good last year. I mean, the crowds we were getting were probably 10 or 12 at the most, and maybe a bit more for the big cup match. But to come here, I think there was about 50,000 in the first day. Great.
Denis Irwin under pressure here. Oh, that's cool play from the full-back. Declines long ball. Irwin again, good defending. Denis Irwin. Irwin's corner. Bruce arriving, and it's there. What a goal from Steve Bruce from Denis Irwin's corner. Irwin on his debut, swinging in the cross, and Steve Bruce was there first to meet it. Well, he buried it into the back of the net. Here's Irwin getting forward, prepared to take on defenders. Denis Irwin could go all the way. Might fall for McClare. It's 2-0. Oh no, offside. The linesman's flag just catching Brian McClare. Hughes. Strong play from Hughes. Here's Irwin in support. Irwin's cross. Neil Webb with a diving header, and that is 2.
And the second one, from what I'm told, somebody just played the ball in behind the back four, and I just ran onto it, clipped it to the back post, and Webby scored with a diving header. So yeah, I mean, I was quite happy with it at the time.
Seconds ticking away for Coventry City if they're to get anything out of this game. United have defended well the opening game of the season, but here's Speedy with a chance. Great save. Gallagher can't get the rebound. Is it easy because you'd had a couple of months with the lads?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I had a couple of months to settle, whereas like if you signed during the season, you're thrown in at the deep end. So I knew, obviously, I've played with him a few times in the pre-season matches, and I was getting to know him a bit more.
Denis is 8.5 out of 10 every week. He never lets you down, Denis Irwin. He's the best fullback in England, without question. 2 great feet. Never see him in the game, but he's always an input. He's always an influence. He's been a fantastic buy for us. £700,000. Gee, oh.
You've not changed.
I have. Don't worry.
You don't look like you have. Your haircut's not changed. Your style's not changed.
No, I used to have a side part in there. It was terrible years ago. I mean, I was just saying, 7 years ago. I mean, it's a long time ago, but it doesn't seem like that. I think the years just fly by at this club.
Gary had tasted success even before life at United. Consecutive promotions with Middlesbrough and consistently outstanding performances have brought him to the attention of Alex Ferguson, though his managers, Bruce Rioch and Colin Todd, were always reluctant to let him go.
I went to see him play against Rochdale for Middlesbrough. A typical Rochdale night, peeing down in a League Cup tie, and I said, there's a Hansen.
First thing I did see, he was lazy on the training ground, but he always had that ability to intercept, to read the game, to pass for a big man, and good pace.
He almost went for about £4,000 as well, didn't he, one stage?
I don't know. I know what we got from him.
It was actually £2.3 million, and he became Britain's most expensive footballer. At that time, Alex Ferguson was criticised for paying so much, but he and new partner Steve Bruce were poised to become the best in the business.
The deal was done on the Sunday. Came down by train on the Monday, signed on the Monday, and trained on the Tuesday for the first time with the lads. And then Wednesday night it was straight into the game. So it was all really surreal. It felt like really as though it wasn't really happening, because, you know, one minute I was at Middlesbrough, next minute I'm at Old Trafford and playing for the first time in the famous strip sort of thing.
Oh, a strong challenge from behind by Pallister, and the new signing has set Lee Sharp away. A chance for Sharp to run at the Norwich defence. Good shot, good save. It's a bit of a stretch as Fleck goes in, but those long legs of Pallister win the challenge. Rain coming down, the ball slipping around. The feet of Pallister, who's enjoying the space. It's a lovely little chip as well for McClare to have a run. Bruce has a go at him. Pallister wins the tackle. Townsend for Norwich. Chance for them to break out of defence. It's a good ball to Fleck. And Dale Gordon has found space in the middle of the United defence, and Gordon has scored for Norwich.
The recollection of the first goal was that I was caught between two players, which really, if I remember, I couldn't do anything about. Yet obviously after the game the critics had a field day, and you know, I took the blame for that one. Then the one I couldn't get away from was the penalty. Rob Rosario, if I remember, just down here, came to the byline and tried to make a challenge, and it was a definite penalty, brought him down. And I'm not sure, was it Robert Fleck put the penalty away or somebody, I think. And I just thought, oh, that's all I need on my debut. And you know, it wasn't the greatest of debuts, and that's probably one of the reasons why I tend to push it to the back of my memory. But you know, it was great to be involved as a Manchester United player anyway.
Big men going forward for Sharp's corner kick. Pallister's header! Oh, and that sums up his night. The headlines weren't great, were they?
No. The easy thing to do is to criticise people. I remember somebody saying, like, oh, for that type of fee as a centre-half, he should be scoring 20 goals a season as well. I mean, it's a ridiculous comment, but, you know, I mean, that's the type of thing that, that I had to learn to deal with.
I think if you look at Pally's debut, it was an absolute nightmare, and he went on to continue that way for about 4 or 5 months. So if he wants to deflect a little bit of the blame on me, then I'll hold my hand up and say, OK, Pally, but I think if he's honest enough to himself, and he's quite an honest geezer, that he'll say that for 4 months he had an absolute disaster.
We got a doing from Norwich that night, and they didn't have a particularly good game. But over the next few weeks, I says, I know what the problem is with Pally, in the sense of how you had to develop something. He had absolutely no muscle. He had no muscle at all. So I set up a programme of weight training for him every day.
You mean you spent 2.3 million on skin and bone?
It's absolutely raw material. Raw material.
He was always going to be a star from the moment he caught the camera's gaze, the Bambi-like posture belying a burgeoning talent. Alex Ferguson was desperate to get his man. In his first season, he was presented with the club's Young Player of the Year award from an admiring Sir Matt Busby, who was delighted to see him that day make a full debut in a Manchester derby.
It's a strong United lineup. The surprise is the inclusion of 17-year-old Ryan Giggs, the speedy Welsh winger who arrived in a blaze of publicity last November and starts the game for the first time today.
So how did the manager break it? Just goes 1 to 11 was Giggs that day?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was. I can remember it was like a chart of all the players on, and he was just putting everyone in each position, and I was number 11.
What were your feelings?
I couldn't believe it at first. I had to ask someone, you know, did he call my name out then? And then, you know, I was just really nervous.
It was a lovely day, the pitch was lively, and I said to him, well, just play as an outside left, but don't be afraid to go inside and just enjoy yourself.
I can remember the crowd were brilliant. You know, when my name was called out, they cheered, and you know, that made me feel, you know, a lot calmer. And eventually, when the game started, it all went so quickly.
Giggs got it clear, and here goes Brian McClare. Hughes in support. Giggs is trying to get there too. McClare taking on Poynton. In towards Mark Hughes. Ryan Giggs, baby. Andy Hill will know he's been in a game today if Giggs gets the service. We approach the midpoint in the first half. And that's a great layoff by Hughes. McClare. Awkward, Gompy back, and Cummins got in, and Colin Hendry.
Tell me about the goal.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy about that. I can remember Mark Hughes being in the centre of their half, and I think he volleyed it out to Brian McClare, and Chucky took a few touches and then crossed it, and I ran in front of the near post hoping to get a touch, and it just bobbled over my leg, and I think it came off Colin Hendry and went in.
So whose goal was it?
Well, I can remember Colin Hendry doing an interview afterwards saying that, you know, he didn't want the goal. If the kid wants it, then, you know, let him have it. So, and the manager says, you know, you claim it.
So the kid was happy to claim it?
I was very happy to claim it, yeah.
Good challenge by Giggs. Here comes Hughes. McClare is free down the centre. Great ball by Mark Hughes. Margesson stayed at home. McClare now has Giggs and Hughes in support. Irwin here too. Denis Irwin. And now Ryan Giggs. Hughes furthest forward in support. Good turn by Giggs. Waited his moment. Almost reached McClare. Webb. Giggs again with another chance. Ooh, and he went for glory. Seeing more of the ball now, Ryan Giggs. And the Manchester City defence have seen more of his pace and his skill as a result. Giggs. McClare. Giggs again. Wasn't really expecting a return pass. On by Heath. Pallister. Blackmore. Webb's made a great run from the back and he's onside. Neil Webb with a real chance here. 2-0. Now, the referee has pulled play back. The game had already stopped. United making the substitution. And young Ryan Giggs this afternoon comes to an end.
When a boy makes his debut, it tells you so many things, his temperament, and his nervous, whether he's nervous or not. And it was just another game to Ryan. He never sweats, you know, he's cool and he's handled it all so calmly, you know.
You know, I've always been a Man United supporter, so that day, you know, was a dream come true, and it certainly was the fate of dreams that day.
It was only a matter of time before Paul Scholes hit the big time. The hair to match the shirt, and a United upbringing in which he'd shown outstanding ability throughout his development. He's one of those players that has the knack, a right place at the right time man. With Scholes, there were no doubts.
When he played in the junior sides, especially at the Cliff here, he used to have his own little fan club. You know, people used to turn up virtually to watch Scholes because he produced some magical performances in the A team and the youth team. Always a very exciting young player.
He's probably the reserves equivalent of Eric Cantona, if that's not saying too much.
With Scholes starring, Alex Ferguson was prepared to let De Jong Dublin go to Coventry. And when United drew Port Vale in the League Cup in 1994, Scholes was given his big chance in a team full of Fergie's fledglings.
You need to be something of a connoisseur of Pontins League football, that's Manchester United's reserve team playground, to really appreciate this lineup. For 19-years-old Paul Scholes and 20-years-old Simon Davis, it's a first-team debut.
I just remember being very nervous on the day before the game, and I think we found out the day before that I'd be playing, and it was just nerves from then on.
Turning out as far as Landyman, and she's in there! 1-0 Port Vale. It's on for Scholes, and he's got it. Well, Paul Scholes, 1-1, travelling fans from Old Trafford well pleased with that. I make that 37 minutes of the first half. Bad mistake in the Port Vale defence. Well read. And Scholes had a scholarly touch on that one.
I remember the first one, I think it was a bad pass from their left back, and I just got in before the defender and luckily put it through his legs and then chipped the keeper just over his right shoulder at the post and went in.
And not even a smile on Alex Ferguson's face. Surely he feels better about things now. Oh, the boy done well. Scholes. This is wide for Gillespie. Going outside him was clear on a dummy run. He wants a shot. Oh, the young man did well. There was a lot of running off the ball by red-shirted players then to distract the Port Vale defenders. Clare. Well, that'll drop to McClare again. Reaching for Davis. Did well. Good cross. Yes! Beautiful goal. And Scholes has done it again. Wow, what a night for young Paul Scholes. His debut, the 19-year-old, and it's all down to that super cross ball from Simon Davis. But didn't he head that well?
I don't remember the move, so I just remember the cross coming in and getting in front of the defender. And I headed it, and I think it just got a little nick off their defender as well, and it guided it into the bottom corner.
Referee John Lloyd has had a look at his watch. He decides that's the activity over for the evening. And Alex Ferguson, I would think, can be well pleased with the kids under his control, particularly this one. Paul Scholes, his debut tonight, and 2 goals and a 2-1 win.
The press had no doubts we'd witnessed the birth of a star, from obscurity to fame, in the twinkling of an eye.
It was just a shock to wake up and actually see it in the papers. I was about to play for United, yeah, but something you don't think about headlines in the paper or anything like that. Just want to play football.
The Ipswich goal rubber-stamped the potential. Scholes had earned his first-team spurs, and since then, he's not looked back.
Now here is probably one of the best football brains this club's ever had, and tough, and down-to-earth boy. Couldn't be a better lad than that in terms of down-to-earth. Great little lad, and he will become a tremendous player.